This is going to be our first session on machine learning. In fact, we are not going to get into machine learning. We are going to prepare ourselves with all the fundamentals that are required to become good at machine learning. There are some statistical fundamentals that you should know. That's what we are going to discuss here. By the way, can you hear me loud and clear without any background noise? And can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Let's carry on. These basic descriptive statistics, you're already aware of them. The only thing is that the technical names, the technical jargons, maybe that is where we are not aware of this. For example, if I give you the data of income, monthly income of 10,000 individuals, person 1, person 2, employee 1, employee 2, and so on. 10,000 people, monthly income I have given you. And I asked you to, for preparing a descriptive report, I asked you to prepare a summary report. In that summary report, what are the metrics that you will definitely mention? What metrics do you definitely mention? Think about it.
Average.
You will definitely mention average income. That's the first thing that comes to our mind. Yes. And then what else?
Highest, lowest.
Highest, which is max income, isn't it? And then main income. Yes or no? These are the ones that you will calculate. Average income is known as measure of central tendency. Minimum and maximum, that will give us an idea on the range. They are known as measures of dispersion. These descriptive statistics, we are already using them. But only thing is, we do not know what are the actual technical jargons. So let us understand what are central tendencies, what are measures of dispersion, how do we calculate them when we are working on a data set. So measures of central tendency, the first descriptive statistic that comes to our mind is mean. Central tendency, a measure that is trying to describe what is the center, what is the middle value. The first thing that comes to our mind is mean. It is also known as arithmetic mean. What is the formula for mean? If xi is the variable, then we denote mean by x bar. The formula is sum divided by count. Sum of all the values divided by count of all the values. Sum is denoted by summation of xi divided by n. I don't think we have to discuss a lot about mean. All of you are aware of it, isn't it? How do you calculate mean? Sum divided by count. That is known as measure of central tendency. Are you getting what is this term? Central tendency. Next time when you see it, it's an average value. It's a center value. We are trying to get the center value of a data set. Measure of central tendency. One such measure is average or the mean. How do you calculate average in Python? For example, you're taking a data set. This data set is census income data. Income data. This is 1990 USA census data. It is actual real data. We can get it from their website. In that data set, there are several columns. One of the column is capital gain. One of the column is capital gain. For example, if we take this data set into a Python pandas data frame called income, then how do you write the code to calculate the average value? You write income and then the variable name dot mean. Once you write like that, you write the what is income? Income is the data set name or the data frame name. What is the variable name? Capital gain dot mean. Automatically it will give you whatever is the mean value of that particular variable. Okay, so let us see how it is done. Okay, in Python right now all these files are kept on Google Classroom. All the videos we will keep on our LMS portal. All the class files we will keep on Google Classroom for ease of access. However, you can download all the class files into your local folders as well, but the videos will be always available on the LMS portal. This particular classroom, already some of you might have joined when you are taking the Python sessions. Otherwise, I'm going to keep the link in the chat window. You have to click that link and join the classroom. For those who are not with us right now, if you're watching this video, then please contact your friends or send a message in the group chat. Somebody will be keeping the class link. Okay, try not to personally message me at odd hours. Okay, now click on the classroom link, and then once you go to that link, go to the classwork. Inside classwork, I have already posted a material called Basic Descriptive Statistics. Are you with me, everyone? Can you see this?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Within this, there's a file called Basic Stats Code version 1 IPython notebook file. IPython notebook file is what we need to open. Anyway, since I have opened it here, I'm going to paste the link directly in the chat window. You can click on the link that is given to you in the chat window. You will be directly landing on this page. Once you're in this page, the code page, send me a confirmation message in the chat window. Once you are on this page, send me a confirmation message on the chat window. Okay, perfect. Those who are not able to access this, quickly let me know. If you're not able to access this, quickly let me know. Looks like everybody is able to access this. Now what I want you to do is import the data set, and then this importing the data set, no explanation is required, isn't it? Import pandas as PD, income equal to pd.read underscore CSV. This is where my file is kept. If you want to see what exactly in that file on the GitHub server, you can also click on that. You can see that, but it's a typical CSV file, nothing fancy about it. Is this particular line of code clear, all of you? The first two lines of code? Yeah, import pandas as PD, and then income is the data frame name that will be stored inside our Python. pd.read underscore CSV is used for reading the CSV files. Now, what does income.shape do? You write the data frame name dot shape. What it will do?
Sir, it will tell us the number of columns and observation.
Number of rows and the number of columns. Here we are getting 32,561, 15. Tell me how many rows are there in this data set?
32,561.
And then the shape will give you the columns
15
as well.
column.
Yeah. Income.info will give you each and every column name. How many non-null values are there? And data type. Object means string object. Integer means it's a numerical value. How many are numerical? How many are non-numerical? These three lines of code. Are you absolutely sure about it? Not very difficult, isn't it? Now, how do you calculate the mean value? You write the data frame name. Let me rewrite it just for the sake of, you write the data frame name, which is income. And then within square brackets, you write the column name. What's our column name? Capital gain. It has to be exactly the way that is there in the data frame. Dot mean. Go ahead. Let me know what is the average capital gain value. What is the average capital gain value?
10,774.
1077 point something it will come.
0.64.
Yeah. So when you are executing this, it will give you a notification that this has been owned by somebody or something. You say go ahead and execute. Have you got that notification, all of you, when you're executing for the first time?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Create a copy
Yes.
or go ahead execute. You can go ahead execute it. Yeah. Okay. That is the mean value. Are you with me, everyone? Is it clear until now?
Yes, sir.
Usually
Yes, sir.
basic statistics session is very easy. Okay. Don't think that we are going to get into very complex topics. These are very, very easy. It's just refreshing your memory. That's it. Okay. Just be very confident about this particular session. Now, think about this. If I ask you this question, what is the average monthly income of a person? Any random person, if you take, what is the average monthly income of a person who's living in India right now? How much would that be according to your general knowledge? How much do you think? Some people will say, how much? 10,000. Some people are saying 20,000. Some people are saying only 6,000. Some people are saying only 3,000. Any other guesses? Roughly what it will be today as of now? The average monthly income. If I take whole India, east, west, north, south, people living in rural areas, urban areas, hilly areas, everywhere, cities, towns, etc. If you take their average, how much that would be?
Sir, around 35.
$2,000.
Dollar में कौन who is earning in dollar? Rupees में होगा ना?
Around 6,000-7,000.
6,000-7,000 like that. What if I tell you as of now average income of a person in India is 75,000 per month? That means on an average everybody is earning almost 9 lakhs per annum package. If you take everyone in India, do you believe in this? Some of you would say I don't know the right answer.
No, sir.
I'm pretty sure that this would be wrong answer, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
75,000 is too much because we live in India. We know how the situation is. But let us see how average is calculated. How average is calculated? In the numerator, you take everybody's income. Yes or no? Your income,
Yes.
my income, everybody's income who is living in India. Maybe my income is in 1,000, somebody else's income is in 1,000, somebody else's income is in lakhs or something like that. Along with everybody, we will also consider a person called Ambani. Yes or no?
Yes.
He should be considered or not?
Yes.
It's outlier.
अरे यार ऐसा मत खोलो यार पोल. Yeah. Along with us, Ambani will be considered, and along with Ambani, whenever you hear Ambani, there will be one more person. Who else is that? Along with Ambani, Adani.
Adani.
He will also be considered. Everybody's income will be considered. Ambani is also earning. He earns around 30,000. How much? 30,000 crores per month. 30,000 ही है, but 30,000 crores है. Adani recently overtook Ambani, again came back
72.
or something. He was earning recently 45,000 crores per month. Suddenly there was a spike from past few years. Now I'll be counted as one. Everybody will be counted as one. Adani will be counted as, Ambani will be counted as 1 or 1,000.
One.
Everybody
1.
has to be counted as one. Average has no distinctions. Everybody will be counted as one. Now check this out. In the numerator, we have added such a huge number. In the numerator, we have added a huge lump sum amount number. In the denominator, we did not add a large number at all. Don't you think because of these values, the average income will be given as a very high value?
Yes, sir.
Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Maybe while you're talking to me, just use the space in the Zoom. That will just unmute you for a while and then you will be going back on mute. Okay. So in the numerator, we have added huge lump sum amounts. In the denominator, we have still kept it as 1 only. That means in the numerator, there are some values that are very far away from the rest of the values. Because of that, the average value seems to be a very high value. When you're working with real data sets, there are always some values that are very far away from the rest of the values. When you're working with real data sets, there will be some data points that are very, very far away from the rest of the data points. They are known as outliers.
Outliers.
When there are outliers present in the data, mean is not the true center value. Mean doesn't really reflect the true center value. Do you agree with that?
Yes, sir.
Yes or no? When there are outliers present in the data, mean will be very much influenced by the outliers. What's the reason? Because in the numerator, there's a very large value. In the denominator, we are not adding a large value. Because of that, outliers are very much influenced by mean. Outliers will pull. Sorry, mean is very much influenced by outliers. Outliers will pull the mean value towards them. Let me give you a simple relevant example. Imagine this is what your data is, very simple data. In this data set, if I ask you to calculate the mean, you will tell me the mean value will be around 1.4 or 1.5 because everything is between 1 and 2. But to my surprise, when I calculated the mean, I got the mean value to be 2.5. Why would I get the mean value to be 2.5 here? What's the reason for it?
9
9.
is
The outlier.
In between, there is one.
9.
What is this called? In this
Outlier.
data,
Outlier.
there is an
Outliers.
outlier. Now look at this data set. Is it fair to say 90% of this data is less than 2? Is it a fair point?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
90% of this data is less than 2. Mean value of this data is 2.5. One side I'm saying 90% of the data is less than 2. On the other side, I'm saying mean value is 2.5. 90% of the data is less than 2. Mean value is 2.5. Don't you think these two are contradictory statements?
Yes, sir.
Why this contradiction is happening? What is the reason for this contradiction?
Sir, the outlier.
Because there are
Outlier.
outliers in the data. When there are outliers in the data, I cannot trust the mean value. It doesn't represent the center anymore. Is that a right statement? Are you convinced with that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
When there are outliers present in the data, I cannot really trust the mean value. There has to be some other way of finding the center. There has to be another central tendency that will tell me what is the average value. That is median. Median is another central tendency that will give me again center value, average value only, but its formula is different. How is it calculated? You take the original data, then sort the data. Take the original data, try to sort the data. This is sorted version of the data. After sorting, take the middle value. After sorting, the middle value happens to be 1.4. This is known as median. Mean and median both are averages only, but median is calculated differently. Okay. Let us suppose instead of 9, if you have 99 here, then 99 will come here. Do you think median will be now changed to 1.4 to 14 or 15, or will it be the same?
It will be the same.
Same.
Even if I have 999, what will be the new median?
So 1.4.
1.4 only. Median is not impacted by
Outlier.
median is not impacted by
Outlier.
outliers. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
So how do we use median in the real life scenarios when we are working on some of the descriptive statistics, when we are preparing some reports? How do we use median? If you want to calculate the average, you simply take the mean value. Until now, tell me honestly, if somebody tells you go ahead calculate the average, we generally calculate mean only. Yes or no? We don't calculate anything else. We simply calculate mean. We think that is the average value. But from here on, what do we say? Whenever somebody says calculate the average, immediately after calculating mean, what do we calculate? Median. You calculate the median value. If there's a huge difference between mean and median, 1 or 2% or 3%, 4% is fine. If there's a huge difference between mean and median, what does that mean? What does that tell you?
Outliers is present.
There must be some outliers present in the data. Yes or no? You need to drill down. You need to find out what percent are outliers. You need to clean the data before analysis. Do you agree? Or can we directly take it as it is to the analysis? We need to drill down and find out the outliers. All these steps are coming up. How do you actually capture the outliers? Here we are getting a hint about the outliers only. If there's a huge difference between mean and median, that means there must be some outliers. Then we may have to drill down. That drilling down, finding the outliers, cleaning the data, I'm going to tell you in some time. So previously you calculated the mean value. How much was the mean value of capital gain?
1077.
1077. Do you want me to trust this just by looking at the mean? Do you think this is the center value that we should trust?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No. Immediately after calculating mean, what is that we are going to do from here on?
You have
Median.
to calculate the
We
median.
have to calculate the median. Go ahead, calculate the median value. First,
0.0.
look at this code. Are you comfortable with this code? A lot of people ask me, sir, Python, how much of Python is required? I tell them just that much where you can call a function, where you can call a package. Are you clear with this code? Not very difficult, isn't it? Go ahead. How much is median?
0.0.
0.0.
0. Mean value is 1077. Median value is 0. What does this mean as a data scientist? What does this tell you?
Sir, there are
There
outliers.
are
There must
outliers
be
present.
some outliers present in the data. We need to drill down. We need to find out what percent are outliers. We need to clean the data before analysis. All these steps are coming up. As of now, I'm just introducing one by one measure to you. There are some other measures that will help us to exactly find out what percent are outliers. Okay. What is drill down? That is also coming up. How do you drill down? What are the, so these are all coming up. Okay. Here we got a just hint on outliers. Are you with me, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Mean and median. Absolutely clear. One of the main questions that is asked in the interviews is what is the difference between mean and median? What is the difference? Median is not influenced by the outliers. That's the true center, isn't it? Sometimes the question is rephrased. When there are outliers present in the data, if I want to calculate the average value, which one would you use? That's another common question. Yeah,
Median.
you can answer that, isn't it? Yeah. Now let me tell you a story. There is a person who's standing on this side of the river, and he has to go from this side, from point A to point B. He has to cross the river from point A to point B. Okay. Now this person, he doesn't know how to swim. If he gets into the river, he may get drowned. So he asked the another person who's standing by the side of the river. He asked him, what is the depth of the river, bro? So this guy told, it's around, on an average, 4 feet. He tells him average depth of the river is 4 feet, but he's very smart. He just attended the data science class. So what did he ask? Don't tell me the mean, tell me the median. So he asked, he told, bhai, itna smart mat ban ja. Mean depth is 4 feet, median depth is also 4 feet. And this guy is around 6 feet tall. He thinks that the average depth, mean depth is 4 feet, median depth is 4 feet. I can easily cross. He starts crossing. Do you think he's always going to reach point B, or is there a chance of drowning?
Chance of drowning. There is a chance.
There is a chance of drowning, isn't it? Average depth 4 feet doesn't mean exactly it will be 4 feet everywhere. No guarantee. Sometimes it will be 1 feet, 2 feet, 3 feet, 3.5, 4 feet. Until 5, 6 feet, he's fine. But sometimes the depth is 10, 11, 12, 13, 15 feet. As soon as he reaches the depth of beyond 6 feet, there is a danger. So if you want to get an idea on the whole data, just looking at the center, you should not be taking all the decisions. Are you with me? Taking a look at the center, you should not be taking all the decisions. Sometimes you need to see how the data is spread around center. For example, there are two companies, company A, company B. If I look at their last 3 years data, in the last 3 years, company A, the average profit is $15 million. Company B, average profit is $15 million. That's the average profit. Now, if I want to invest in a company, I want to invest it for long term. I want to invest in that company that is less risky. Which one I should pick? As of now, both of them averaging 15 and 15. If I look at the real data, company A, yes, $15 million. Company B, $15 million is the average profit. If I ask you the question again by showing you this data, I want to invest in a company that is very much less risky. I want to invest in a company for long-term purpose. Can you suggest me one out of these two?
B. Company B.
Company
B.
B.
That would be company B. What's the reason for it? Company A, $15 million profit. Company B, $15 million profit. No doubt about it. Both of them have the same average. But company A, sometimes the profit is way above $15 million. Are we really happy with that? No.
No.
The reason is it has sometimes a profit way below $15 million as well. There were some losses as well. Yes or no? There were some places, there were some quarters where it has gone for losses way below $15 million. Whereas company B always in and around $15 million. So both of them have the same average, but company A has higher dispersion in the data. Company B has lesser spread or lesser dispersion in the data. Usually when you want to go for long-term, less risky companies, which company would you go for? A company that has higher spread, higher dispersion in the data, or lower spread, lower dispersion in the data? Lower dispersion, isn't it?
Low dispersion.
It has to give us consistent results. Yeah. So consistently it is performing around $15 million. This is a company that is less risky. Now both of them have the same mean. Do you think looking at the average, we get an idea on the dispersion in the data? Is it possible? Looking at the average, do we get an idea on the dispersion in the data? No, there
No,
must
sir.
be some other measure. Now that other measure name is variance. Variance is a measure of dispersion. Variance tries to quantify what is the spread in the data. Variance try to quantify what is the dispersion in the data. How much is the spread around the mean? How much is the spread in the data? That is given by variance. Variance is a measure of dispersion. Okay. How do you calculate variance? Very simple formula if we understand. Take the original value. This is company A values. These are company B values. Company A, let us denote by XI. Company B, let us denote by YI. Take every value of company A, calculate the average value X bar. Calculate the average value Y bar. Now take the value minus mean. Value minus mean. 43 minus 15. 44 minus 15 and so on. Minus 15, 28, 29, minus 15, 10, 5 like that. This is value minus mean. This is value minus mean for company B. Now these are all the deviations from mean. These are all the deviations from mean in company B. Tell me one thing. If these deviations are larger and larger values, what does that mean? Variance is higher or variance is smaller?
Sir,
Higher.
variance is higher.
Variance is higher. So is it a good
Higher.
idea if I look at the summation of all the deviations here? If I look at the summation of all the deviations here, I'll get a good idea on the which variance is higher, which variance is lower. Is it a good idea to take the summation of all those deviances?
Yes.
There is a small catch. There is a problem with the summation. What's the problem with the summation?
Negative values.
There are some positive values. That's good. There are some negative values. Then they may cancel out. Yes or no? Summation is not going to give me the true picture of the variance in the data. Are you with me? Summation
sir.
is not going to give me the true picture. Instead of summation, I have to, what should I do to make all of them positive? I can take either absolute value or I can take the square of the value. I'm taking the square of the value, xi minus x bar whole square, yi minus y bar whole square. Tell me one thing, if whether it is positive or negative, square is always positive. Yes or no? 28 square, 29 square, 15 square. These are all the squared deviations. These are all the squared deviations. Now what I'll do, I'll take the average of these. I'll take the average of squared deviations. What is average? Sum of xi minus x bar whole square divided by n. Average of squared deviations. That is known as variance. Look at the formula of variance. Sum divided by count. Xi minus x bar whole square. X bar is the average. Whole square. Why are you squaring? Because there are some positives, there are some negative. Sum divided by count. In simple terms, this is average of squared deviations. That is known as variance. Variance of company A is 352. Variance of company B is 4.9. Variance of company A is 352. Variance of company B is 4.9. Do you really want to see the full data if I give you this table and ask you this question? Hey, can you suggest me a company that is less risky? Can you suggest me that? Can you suggest me a
Yes, sir.
company? Do you really want to see the full data, or this table is sufficient for you? Tell me, which company
This
would
is
you
sufficient.
suggest if I'm asking you to
company B.
suggest for a less risky company, a company that has
Less variance.
Less variance.
variance.
Variance. That is A.
Less variance, A.
E.
B, है ना? The company that has less variance. What if my question is different? What if I ask you, you know what, I want to invest in a company for short term only. In the sense, I want to buy stocks now. Within 1 month, I want to sell off. I want to buy stocks now with a small profit. I want to sell off. I want to buy stocks now. If I'm making some losses quickly, I want to exit. I'm looking at everything from the short term point of view. If that is the case, which company would you suggest me?
Company A.
Company that has
More variance.
higher
Small variance.
variance. Short term, high risky companies, higher variance, because you will be able to enter, either you exit with minimal profit or exit with minimal loss. High variance, high risky companies. Low variance, low risky companies. Remember, whether high variance is good, low variance is good, that is not decided by us. That totally depends on the business problem. Do you agree with that? Sometimes your business problem tells you that go for a higher variance company. Sometimes your business problem will tell you that go for a lower variance company. Sometimes you want consistency. Sometimes you want versatility. Do you agree with that? Which one is good, high variance
sir.
or low variance? Or it depends on the business problem?
So it depends on the business
Depends
problem.
on the
Always
business
it depends on the business problem. So variance will try to quantify what is the dispersion in the data. This is a formula. One important note here. All the formulas that you see in this course, you don't need to memorize any of these formulas. Absolutely no. You don't need to memorize any of these formula. You just need to understand how do they come. That's it. Formulas memorizing is not required. That is the formula for variance. It will quantify what is the dispersion in the data, what is the spread in the data. If you want to get an idea on the spread, you calculate variance. But when you look at this whole discussion, the only counterintuitive point that occurs to you is, why are we squaring everything? Aren't we making everything look very, very big? Aren't we making this variance look very, very big? Are you getting that doubt? We have squared up everything. If the value is in dollars, variance will be in dollar square. If the value is in meters, variance will be square meters. Why are we unnecessarily squaring up everything? That's why there is another measure that is connected to this, that is known as standard deviation. In simple words, standard deviation is nothing but square root of variance. You calculate variance, take the square root of it. Standard deviation is the square root of variance. Both standard deviation, variance are
Measures of dispersion.
measures of dispersion. You should not think that when should I use standard deviation, when should I use variance, nothing like that. Both of them are measures of dispersion. For example, here based on variance, you told me is our variance. Here based on variance, you told me B is less risky company. If I would have given you standard deviation, and if I ask you the same question, which one is less risky company, do you think your decision is going to change?
No, sir.
If I ask for company which is high risky, do you think your decision is going to change if you are using standard deviation instead of variance?
No, sir.
So is it fair to say both variance and standard deviation tell us the same story, just that standard deviation is simply square root of variance? So never think that when should I use standard deviation, when should I use variance? Both of them are telling you the same story. You can either use standard deviation or use variance. Okay, both are one and the same. They are trying to tell us the same story. Okay, so let us do a quick exercise. Why is it hanging? Let us do a quick exercise. The data set that we are going to take now is online retail sales data. All of you check this out. This is a new data set, online retail sales data. Okay, then get an idea on the data set. What I want to do is, there is a column called unit price. Okay, first listen to the statement, then you can do it. There is a column called unit price. What we want to do is, we want to divide the data into two parts. Country is Germany, country is France. This is data set from various countries. Okay, So what we want to do is, let us delete these lines of code. We have to add a couple of lines of code in between. So what I'll do is, let us write the code. First, I would like to divide the data into two parts. One is only for Germany. So online. So let me create Germany dataset. I'll take this online retail sales data. Now, how do you write a filter condition? Here is the syntax. In the brackets, you have to write the filter condition, whatever is the condition here. So what's the condition? Where the country, where is country? Country is equal to Germany. Okay. So how do you do that? For that, you need to again write the data frame name and write the column name. Just first observe it, then you can do it. Then the column name, what is the column name? Country. 2 times you have to write equal to, because it's a comparison operation. And then what is it exactly, how it is given in the data set, that should be written. Okay, Germany. So what this will do, it will take all the records from online retail wherever the country is Germany, then that will be kept in this data set. Similarly, how do I do it for France? How do I create it for France? Let me delete these 2 lines. The original code I'm deleting. Yeah, how do you create it for France? You simply write
Change.
France, and then here you change
France
it to the
equal to
way it
France.
is France. Can I write lowercase f here?
No, sir.
Within the codes,
What
exactly
else?
how it is there, it should be given. So once you create these two data sets, since it worked without any error, I will directly go to calculation of the variance of unit price in Germany. So I'll write Germany, and then what is the column name? Unit
Unit.
price. And then how do you calculate the variance? You write
Dot
dot VAR variance. What is the Germany variance of unit price in Germany? 385. Similarly, you calculate the variance for France. Tell me which one has higher variance. Tell me which one has higher variance. Carry on. Is it Germany or is it France that has got higher variance? In unit price, where is a lot of versatility? Is it Germany that we are selling
So
very different
France.
products, or France?
France, sir.
Okay. All right. Tell me what is the unit price variance for Germany? What is the unit price variance for Germany?
385.
For France, how
0.41.
much is that? Variance.
7910.
7910.
So obviously, where are we selling very, very versatile products, a huge range of products? Is it in Germany or is it in France?
So France.
France. Listen to me carefully. All these measures that we are discussing here, these measures are very, very fundamental, basic measures. Are we going to build all our business strategies on these measures? Are we going to decide our business strategies based on these measures?
No, sir.
No, these are descriptive statistics. They will tell you, they will describe you what has happened in the data. You will just get an idea on this. In fact, these will go as the measures that will be used in the advanced machine learning algorithms later on. These are kind of fundamental statistics that will help you to understand or describe the data. Where is the center value? What is the dispersion in the data? You're trying to describe the data using these measures. Okay. All right then. Before we proceed, are there any quick questions, anybody? All right. Let me tell you a different story here. There's a student who attempted an exam. In that exam, he got 80 marks out of 100 marks. Along with him, there are 10,000 other students who participated in that exam, and this fellow got 80 marks out of 100 marks. Is he doing a good job or not? Is he doing a good job or not?
Maybe never.
There are two scenarios. In scenario 1, with 80 marks, he outscored 9,000 people. He scored better than 9,000 people. Only 1,000 participants got better than him. He outscored 9,000 people, but 1,000 people got better than him. 90% are below him, 10% are above him. So with 80 marks, which percentile he is standing at? In terms of percentiles, what percentile he is standing at? If I ask him what is your percentile, what will he say?
90.
Since 90% of the people are below him, obviously he is standing at 90 percentile. With 80 marks, you know what? I secured 90 percentile. That is scenario 1. He is doing a good job. Yeah, acha kiya. 90% of the people, you have done better than them. Very good. In scenario 2, with 80 marks, imagine this is an online exam. अपन को तो पता है how online exams go, isn't it? We all have given them. Now with 80 marks, though he got 80 marks, he outsmarted only 500 people. He scored better than only 500 people. Remaining 9,500 people. I got a question in the chat window. Let me see that. Sir, is there any case that we have to apply variance to median values, or sometimes if there is any outliers in the data? When there are outliers in the data, everything will be wrong. Not only variance. When there are outliers in the data, we should not proceed. We should drill down. We should find out what percent are outliers. We should clean the data and proceed further. Okay. Once you clean the data, mean and median will be almost same. That's why. Answers the question? Yeah. Any other questions before I proceed? Anybody? Quickly. Ready? Now focus on this. Okay. Look at this. What I'm saying is, in scenario 1, that person has got better than 90% of the people. He's standing at 90 percentile. In scenario 2, he got 80 marks, but only 5% scored less than 80 marks. 95% of the people scored better than 80 marks. So with the same 80 marks, in a different scenario, what is the percentile he's standing at? With the same 80 marks, since below him only 5% are there, he's standing at which percentile?
5%.
5%, isn't it? So is it fair to say, not every time, if you just look at the absolute value, you will not get the complete picture. If you just look at the absolute value, you will not get the complete picture. You have to compare that value with the rest of the population. Then only you will get to know exactly where do you stand. If you compare whatever you got with the rest of the population, then only you will get to know exactly where do you stand. That's the reason why some exams, they don't really give you marks. Yes or no? Some exams, they don't give you the absolute marks. What do they give you? They'll tell you with whatever marks that you got, which percentile do you stand at. Have you now understood why some exams, they just stick to percentiles? Because you can easily compare yourself with the rest of the people and tell exactly where do you stand. A lot of exams now use percentiles to tell you where exactly how much have you scored in the sense compared to others. The percentiles are very important from analysis point of view also. I'm going to now tell you how to calculate percentiles. How can we use for analyzing our data? Once again, the percentiles are calculated for scenarios where you have exam marks, where you have income, all the numerical data sets like expenses or number of loans, etc. You can calculate percentiles in all these scenarios. Let us see how percentiles are calculated. Let us suppose you have income variable. I want to know what is the 10th percentile of income. So one is percentile. The other one is actual variable value. Variable value. What's the variable here? Income. If you want 10 percentile, this is how it is calculated. Look at this, all of you. If you want 10th percentile, how is it calculated? You sort the income. You arrange the income from maximum value to minimum value. Income is the example that I'm taking. Let us suppose maximum income is $1 lakh. Minimum income is some $1,500. Minimum income is $1,500. 10th percentile means that particular income, let's say 10th percentile value is $2,000. That particular income, where below it, how much percent of the population will be there? Below it, exactly 10%. How much percent of the population?
10.
10% of the population. Above 2,000, how many people will be earning? What percent of the population will be earning? 90%. 10th percentile is that value. What is the speciality of $2,000? Tell me. What's the speciality of $2,000? Where exactly does it stand?
10% people will be
10% of the people will be earning less than or equal to 2,000. Remaining 90% will be earning more than or equal to 2,000. That's where 10th percentile is. Similarly, can you explain me 20 percentile value? What does that mean? Let's say 20 percentile value is, let's say 4,300. What exactly this means?
20% of people are earning less than 4,300.
20 percentile value is 4300. It means I can understand that 20% of the people are earning less than or equal to $4,300. 80% of the people are earning more than or equal to $4,300. Are you with me, everyone? Similarly, you can calculate 30 percentile, 40 percentile, 50 percentile, 60 percentile, 70 percentile. What is 80 percentile? What is 80 percentile? What does 80 percentile mean? Let's say 80
Right.
percentile value is $62,000. What does that mean?
80% of the people are earning
80%
less
are
than 62,000.
earning less than
62,000. 80% of the people are earning less than or equal to $62,000. How much are earning more than $62,000?
20%.
That means if you have 10,000 people in your population, how many people are earning more than $6,200? $62,000? Roughly 2,000. 20% are earning more. Similarly, you take the 90 percentile value, let's say that is coming out to be $75,000. What does that mean? 90 percentile value is $75,000. What does that mean? 90% of the people are earning less than or equal to $75,000. Remaining 10,000, remaining 10% are earning more than this much. 10, 20, 30, 40. Now, tell me one thing. What is 0 percentile value? Think of 0 percentile. 0 percentile is that number where below that 0% of the people should be earning, above that everybody should be earning. 100% are above that, 0% below that. What's that value?
$1,500.
The minimum income.
0 percentile is that number where below that is nobody, everybody is above that. Obviously, in any population, what is that number where below it is nothing, above it is everybody? What is that number? It has to be
Max.
Minimum value.
Minimum value.
max ka below the everybody hai na?
Minimum value.
Is it maximum
Minimum.
value or minimum value? Think about
Minimum
it carefully.
Minimum value.
Maximum.
Minimum
0
$1,500.
percentile means what? Below max. Let's say 1 lakh. Here is it $1 lakh? Are you saying $1,500? Which one is the answer?
Minimum wages.
$1,500.
$1,500.
Is it true? Below 1,500, 0% of the people are there. Is it true? Everybody is earning above 1,500.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes? Yes or no? Minimum value. Is it making sense? Especially somebody told maximum. Is it making sense? Think about it. 0 percentile. Below that, 0% of the population are there. Above that, 100% of the people are there. Similarly, what is 100 percentile value? What is
Max.
100
Max.
percentile value?
Maximum.
$100,000 are equal to.
Here
$1
it is
lakh.
maximum value. Here it happens to be $1 lakh, which is the maximum value. What is 100 percentile? Below that, 100% of the people are there. Above that, 0% are there. Though we are calling them as minimum and maximum, is it fair to call them as 0 percentile, 100 percentile? Can we rename minimum and maximum to 0 percentile and 100 percentile?
Yes, sir.
Similarly, within this list, we discussed another percentile with a different name. Can you guess that?
Sir,
We
median or
discussed
mean?
another percentile with a different name. Which percentile is that?
50%.
50 percentile, 50% of the data below this, 50% of the data above it. This can be easily called as, what did we call it as?
Median.
Median.
Is it mean? Is it median? Is it always mean and median both? Is it only mean or is it only median? Which one is always right? Correct answer according to definition?
Mean.
Always it is the median according to its definition. Below 50, above 50. 50 percentile is that number where below it is 50%, above it is 50%. That is known as median value. That is how percentiles are calculated. Obviously, are we going to calculate them manually using these formulas, or are we going to simply call a function in Python and send our data to calculate it? What are we going to do?
Sir, call out.
We
Function.
always use functions, ready-made functions. A lot of people ask me how much of Python is required. I tell them that much of Python where you can simply call a function, isn't it? Everything is pre-written. We just need to call a function in Python.